So recently, Mr. Ed Boon himself received a well-deserved award at an event known as the DICE Awards. He also gave a speech where he takes us on a trip down memory lane and the events that led us to what we all know as Mortal Kombat. Something that I think a lot of people found interesting is his recent statements that can be found in a very recent interview from Game Informer. Now in this interview, they inevitably asked the one and only Ed Boon himself, what's next for NetherRealm? Now, if you are a hardcore Mortal Kombat fan like myself, you'll know that news for, well, anything NetherRealm has been very sparse, for lack of a better word. At least since NetherRealm Studios put out a statement basically saying, yeah, we're kinda done with Mortal Kombat 11, forever, and that they are focusing on their next game. Now that was 7 months ago, and if you are an MK fanatic like me, you'll know that when NRS releases a new game, the next one is in the early development stage. Ed Boon also put out a statement after the Game Awards back in December where I think we all kinda had this expectation, even if it was just in the back of our minds, that Ed Boon was going to bless us all with a new announcement, whether that be Mortal Kombat 12 or Injustice 3. Well, after I watched the entirety of the Game Awards with that in mind, there was ultimately no announcement. Now this hurt, because if I'm being honest, while there were some nice things being shown at the Game Awards, I think long-time fans of NetherRealm Studios watched the awards solely for that, a new NRS game. And when that didn't happen, Twitter kinda went on a rampage. Now the statement Mr. Boon put out gave us clarity. To sum it up, he basically said, we appreciate all the passion and anticipation for our next game, but we aren't ready to show it yet. Now, I truly appreciated that, because that lets me know that they aren't in no way of a rush, and who wants a rushed game, especially if it affects gameplay. I, as an MK fan, am willing to wait to ensure we get the best game possible in the end. Now, on to why I believe that Mortal Kombat 12 is NRS's next title based on what was said by Ed Boon. I'm like 99.9999% positive, and I think it's pretty obvious. And Ed Boon's various statements make it all the more obvious. When Ed Boon was asked what's next for NetherRealm, he mentions the decade-long pattern that they've been following since Mortal Kombat 2011, with NRS releasing Mortal Kombat and Injustice titles back-to-back within a 2-year cycle. Now, if you've been an NRS fan for up until this point, you'll know that the release pattern was broken after Mortal Kombat 11 was released. This left many fans speculating on what's next for NRS. Some assumed that there was just a delay because of what's going on in the world. Some believed they would be getting a Marvel game or even a Marvel vs. DC game.
That was fantastic.
But Ed Boon also commented on the release cycle of their games, saying that there's a reason the cycle was broken and that it'll make sense once the game is shown. I also think it's worth noting that Mortal Kombat's 30th anniversary is this year. I honestly think that this information basically deconfirms Injustice 3. Now I really don't mind the Injustice series, but it would be put off if we waited over 3 years for an Injustice game. Mortal Kombat 12 just makes so much sense. I do think NRS is taking their time to make their next game as clean as possible. I also believe that they are using Unreal Engine 4 instead of 3. So I think that they are just doing a massive overhaul to start pushing out games on next-gen systems. The longer wait time just gets me excited to see how far they'll actually push the bar this time around. I don't think we fully expect what's coming, and that is what drives my hype. So, at the end of the day, I do strongly believe that Mortal Kombat 12 is the next title, and will most likely be shown at some point this year as we celebrate 30 years of Mortal Kombat and a ton of memories.
That is why I'm calling.
Okay guys, that is all I have for today's video. Please comment any thoughts you have on the future of NetherRealm Studios and subscribe for more content. Peace.